Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors. Welcome everybody to another episode of PDR Tool Time. This is episode 263. It is a continuation of our episode with the man, the myth, the legend, Lito Balderrama, Natalio Balderrama from the original Dent Wizard. And what do you think about that last week's episode, Daniel? What do you think?
Man, I learned so much. Everything that I heard was wrong. I never heard anything about him going to Australia. You know, I heard he went to Germany. So it was like setting the record straight. I loved it.
Yeah, there were so many things. Even as an employee of Dent Wizard, there was a lot of myths and, you know, behind it and mysterious ways of why he did it. And you know, even the name of how he came up with Dent Wizard. And there's all sorts of things in this past episode. And this current episode that you're listening to right now, we're going to get into more of the current stuff as he progressed as the Dent Wizard and his relation to building his empire. Is it safe to say that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So, the start of everything, really.
Yeah, really. And I mean, it's, you know what? I'm just going to shut up and let you guys and gals enjoy the next episode.
Let's get to it.
The next thing I know is you, St. Louis. Somehow the connection between you and St. Louis and Kevin Beatty.
Yeah, where does St. Louis come into play?
Or there's probably years of you fixing cars before you move on.
I was ready. Yeah, I was ready. Trying to market a franchise idea for Dent Wizard.
Okay.
As a matter, let me clarify this. Dent Wizard is not the name that I came up with.
All right.
That's the customers calling me, "You're a wizard."
Yeah.
And that was the name. Sure. I don't take credit for that.
What was the first name you came up with? Curious.
There was a name, something stupid, nothing to do with dance.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I was so naive that.
Yeah.
But that was unbelievable. I mean, a wizard. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then I was doing a franchise, setting up the franchise with the paperwork and the marketing and everything. And one day I was working in Miami and I received a phone call from a guy who presented himself, Mark Miravelle.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was in St. Louis. And then he said, I want to buy into this. I need to buy into this, and I would like to be your partner. And I said, well, just by myself, I don't think I will be able to do it. And I said, okay, I think about it, and we can talk. And my next trip will be going to St. Louis to do a demo.
Yeah.
For these guys.
What year was that?
Boy, I don't remember.
80.
Probably
89.
Yeah, late 89, probably.
88.
Summer. Because by 91, I think you were training, you know, some of the guys that are still around. Dave Shalott. Dave Shalott is 91.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it was 89. The first batch of technician was, one of them was Rick Hammer.
Yeah.
Another one was Miravelle, his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Miravelle's brother. And a few others that I can't remember their name. But anyway, and he called me and I decided to go to St. Louis to introduce myself and introduce my demonstration. And they had a dealership, a used car dealership in St. Louis, and they said, whatever demonstration you want to do in whichever car you do it, we leave you alone. Yes, that's the only thing I request, and I don't want nobody around me.
Yeah,
I didn't know who I was dealing with, and there were so many people. At one time, there was the owner of one dealership in Miami, the owner, taking pictures of my tools, and a month later he was competing with me. The owner of a dealership. The guy was so high in cocaine, he was doing anything imaginable under the sun. He tried to compete with me and take a picture of my tools, and he tried to reproduce the tools. But anyway, I went to St. Louis and I said, well, I'm going to do a demonstration for you. Unfortunately, we don't have any large dents here. All of these dents are very small for the demo.
You can make one.
I can make one, yeah. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Johnson.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I grabbed the Johnson. At that point, I had a kind of a curve in it. And I had the trunk lead of a Mercedes-Benz. And I said, well, I'm going to give you a nice dent. And I grabbed the Johnson. I went, pow, against the back of the vertical face of the trunk lead.
Without no rag?
Next to the star.
The star, yeah.
Was it then about this long?
Yeah.
And the guy believed in me, but he got concerned when he saw such a big one. But I was so jealous about people watching me that the first thing before I take any tools out, I start looking around,
Yeah.
and I see a glass bubble on top of the door facing me. And I was drinking coffee with a styrofoam cup. And I went over there and I finished my coffee and the right size for the cup.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I did that then. I'm still amazed. If I had to do it today again, I don't think I'd be able to. I mean,
yeah.
I was illuminated by God. This is the only thing I can come up with. God was with me all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
In about 40 minutes, I finished it then. You could not pick any imperfection in it. And said, okay, we're going to invest. We're going to do this. That's how the partnership started. That's why the first 2 trainings were done in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you this. When did you do or attempt to do your first hail car?
After I was in Miami. Cars that were brought to me by dealers, which they, knowing me, I was there. I had my office, my shop, my training center, everything in there. And people buying cars up north with hail damage and brought them to me. But hail, I never paid too much attention to because I was so quick in doing side panels.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to brag because I'm stupid to draw. One of the reasons I never wanted to do an interview like this because people may think I'm bragging. I'm bragging about myself. I'm not. I'm trying not to. But
this is the most awesome. I mean, I was thinking about this when we were discussing this interview. And there are thousands. Nobody's been able to come up with an exact number of dent technicians here in the U.S. But I can guarantee every single one of them is 6 degrees away from you and what you created. So there ain't no bragging here. This is the history of how we all even make our living.
Now,
I realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. With that, did you ever run into anyone else in the early years that was able to do it? Because I know there's people like up in Minnesota. There's a gentleman that was from Germany.
Yeah.
He was, probably came from the same background as you as well.
Yeah.
A panel beater, and then figured out how to do it without painting.
Yeah, that's why one day I need to thank him because he was the reason he inspired me to do the franchises.
Right. Okay.
Because one day I had all Mercedes-Benz in the area I was doing.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, anything high quality or high-end cars I was doing. And one day I went back to one of the Mercedes-Benz and I started walking the lot. They always told me, whatever you see, just grab the key and do it. And one day I started walking the lot and I see a couple of dents were like the Expression Pizza. I don't know if you heard.
Yes.
And our dents were chewed up and full like a pineapple skin.
Yeah.
And I see one, and then I see another one, and I see another one. I went straight to the office. Somebody's doing your car beside me because I see many cars where they were touched and they were not finished. I refused to touch them because those paint, most of them they were cracked.
Yeah.
And then the manager, which appreciated me a lot, he said, "Yeah, the owner found about this guy up north, Jorgen."
Yeah, Jorgen. Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah," and he said, "We flew him over here, maybe because I was making too much money, so they thought they were able to do it for less." And we had him go for an entire day. He did all our cars. Yeah, okay. When you need me again, you call me. I'm not going to do your cars anymore. And I didn't go back. But then that was the time where I started doing the franchise. That I didn't do any more retail or wholesale work anymore.
That's the Italian part of them, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Vendetta. Huh? And yeah, and let me tell you another funny thing happened. I was in this dealership. The police came over and thought I was a black guy trying to steal a car.
Breaking into the cars?
Yeah, a guy came with a Rolls-Royce Corniche, I think it was, convertible. He had a very tiny dent on a two-door. On a rear panel next to the door. And I said, he said, "Can you fix it?" That was my idea. I was doing the dealership. If you are a retail customer, you have to follow me. Wherever I go, I tell you, I'm here, you bring it over and I do it for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to your house. Because it happened to me a couple of times. I went to the house, oh, the wife took the car. I can't do it. I had to use the car now.
Yeah.
And then he came over. Yeah, I came over and I said, "Well, how long is it going to take? And how much is it going to be?" $100. The Rolls Royce, I was charging $45 for any car, but this car, $100. And let me take it to the back. I'll do it and I bring it back. Are you sure? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll bring it back. Came back 20 minutes later, $100. And the guy said to me, "Are you sure the $100? It only took you..." We're talking about 30-something years ago.
Yeah.
$100 then was a lot of money.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he said, "Because I'm a brain surgeon, and I don't charge that much." I said, "Sorry, you choose the wrong trade."
Yeah.
That was the cocky version of me. That I regret that because that was stupid to say. But anyway,
But I think we all do that, though. You know, at the end of the day, we fix metal on cars, and it's not. You know, we're not saving people with brain surgery or
yeah.
you know, but it's still important job.
It's funny you say that because I remember going to my lawyer and fixing his car, and I knew what he was charging me an hour, and I charged him the same amount. And he would call me like at least once a year. I would see him at least once a year, and I would see how much he was charging, and so I would up my prices every time I went back to see him. Because I wanted to make the same amount that he did.
But I don't think you did the entire thing altogether the way you're supposed to. You should ask him for a retainer.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I should have.
5,000 retainer, and then we talk.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now it's the early 90s. You're in St. Louis, you're training, and you're happy doing what you're doing, and
I loved it. I mean, that was my life.
yeah.
Then I moved to Miami. That's where we started doing the training over there.
So let me ask you this. So all the Dent Wizard stuff is folklore for me, but I always heard from all the Dent Wizards how hard the training was, that the training was very regimented. Was that by your design?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? Why was it like that?
Because I always considered this was a privilege for people to learn this. And you need to see the character of the person at the very beginning to see if whether they made for this or they weren't made for this, or whether maybe it's the wrong way to think of maybe do they deserve to do this or not. We're paying good money then to be trained. We were asking the franchisee to pay them like $2,800 a month in 30 years ago while they were in training.
Yeah.
And I was not only responding for myself, but also for the franchisee. They giving you good money. You need to give back all you have in order to, do your part.
Yeah. No, I think it was smart. That was very, very smart to do that.
And Daniel, I know, like when I started, I was 20 years old and I was hired by corporate Dent Wizard. I wasn't a franchisee. I was in Chicago, and they, at the time that I've told the story before, I was the youngest corporate technician they hired at the time. They wanted you 21 years old. They wanted, they did background checks on you. You had to have your eyes examined, physical. Everything had to have been done before you were ever hired by Dent Wizard. And we don't really talk about our training all that much. Even, to this day, I'll give you little bits and pieces, but it was a privilege to be, trained by Dent Wizard.
Well, I was told that, you had to carry around your master tool, and if you dropped your master tool, you're out.
I hear a comment on Facebook. Somebody said, "Oh, they post a picture of the master," and somebody made a comment. "Oh, I use that as a paperweight at my desk." And all of a sudden, I see available in the market the tool called the slapper, and that was part of what the master used to do, slapping crowns and slapping smiles, I used to call them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even reverse it, go inside the door and push the dent, and with the tip of the tool, we used to push the dent.
Yeah.
High spots.
That's what I had. I still the colors here in my
index. I think I forgot that too.
Rocking the tool back and forth. Yeah. But that was the tool that's what I call the master, because it was multiple things you could do with that tool. Multiple things.
I'm telling you a story. If I had a little bit of rust on the edge of it, I was not going to eat that day. I'm telling you. That's for sure. That's literally like that.
Yeah. I think the master I got had a hole in it for also bending the tools. Was that on the original master also?
Yeah. They had a hole that you could get even 9mm diameter tools. Inside the hole, you can use it to bend, to give it different shapes. That's one of the things that I don't see today. Well, maybe I'm not familiar with somebody selling those tools, but those tools were so bendable. That's what the full tool set, including hammer and dolly and everything, was like 22 tools, something like that. Because every tool, you become to be like 15 tools, only one tool. The way you bend them, you can make it left or right. You can make it a hook. You can make it straight. And they
bend them, but you can still push on them. They were still rigid.
Oh yeah, Yes. And some of them eventually they get fatigue in the metal and it will break, but not before you squeeze a lot of money.
A lot of money. Yeah. Now, why? That's the big mystery with the Dent Wizard tools. Like, I still have my master.
Opa, look at that.
And it's still shiny.
And it's shiny. You can continue talking because it's still shiny.
Yeah. The metal, they were made in Argentina. At least the ones in '95, they were made in Argentina. And I know the metal was so strong on them compared to what other countries, and maybe the heat process of heat treating, it was always different than what you could get in the States.
Yeah. So that was my specification, and I had these people working with me, and we got the first set of tools in a matter of 1 month. We got select which tool and fabricate it, and then 6 weeks. In 2.5 months, we had made like 40 sets that we ship over, and we send them to St. Louis when we start doing the training. Yeah, the heat treatment, the different areas of the tool. You can bend them, some of them in different areas, you cannot bend them.
Yeah.
Only in the area that will make a change in the tool capacity.
So what were the tools, spring steel, or were they a combination? What was
a combination?
A combination, yeah.
And they're regular carbon steel, which are treated in a way that become to be rigid or maneuverable.
Yeah.
And he's not going to tell you all the secrets.
No.
No, unless you want me to kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all the tools were being made back then in St. Louis.
No,
I mean,
in
Argentina, sorry. And so I got trained in 93, and my first set of tools came from A1. So did somebody leave Dent Wizard training? And I'm trying to connect the dots of how it broke away from Dent Wizard and the independents started to get trained and learn.
Yeah, you could see it coming. I mean, I never had a patent on those tools because I knew once you have a patent, you're revealing everything. Until today, I don't think anybody can say, I duplicated those tools exactly the way they were in Argentina. You can't.
You can't.
There's no plan. There's no disclosure of how they were made, nor the type of material that was used.
So how did you find the tool maker? Was it somebody you already knew?
No, this guy, it was from my hometown in Argentina. I knew him before I left Argentina. They were doing special tools for manufacturers.
Okay.
For example, they will have a new model coming out, Volkswagen. They need a special tool to remove any portion of the engine. The tools that you cannot buy anywhere else, they had to be manufactured specifically for that.
Yeah.
And there were manufacturers of ratchets, the ones you can measure, the strength you can
torque wrench,
wrench, and there were that you had to be good in tempering the metal to be able to, because that's mainly what it is. If you temper the metal in a different way, the torque is not going to work the way it's supposed to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was good too because not only were you supporting your home country and your people in your hometown, you were bringing good quality tools to America that were not being able to reproduce in America as well. I still to this day use a lot of my original Dent Wizard tools, and I know nowadays you still sell tools with your business, Dent Legend, and you still train?
Actually, I'm not training. I don't train anymore. I think my last training was done like 3 years ago.
Oh, you're done. Oh, good for
you.
you.
Yeah, I can't. My eyes doesn't allow me to, and my shoulder. If I had to do a demonstration to the tech, I will not able to do it because my shoulder is.
That's why you passed the torch to Jonathan, your son.
Yeah,
your big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I saw the last car he did. It was a tailgate. It was a pretty bad, nasty dent. I think it was in a Chevy Traverse or something like that. And
yeah,
it took you like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, I think that it could have taken me only 1 hour. It took me the entire day almost.
Yeah,
it was for my church pastor. And I did it for him. And I didn't want to charge him. And it was a big dent on the tailgate. Yeah. And I was having to get on top of a step ladder to get to a position where the gate was open. That was cruel. That was very bad for me. I mean,
you were done.
Arthritis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dizziness.
How old are you, Lito?
Well, I'm not a woman. I can tell you. I mean, I'm 72.
72.
Yeah,
that's good.
All right. So those of you that are 20 that are spending 6 hours, just know that Lito will still stomp a little mud hole in your butt.
Yeah, he'll still beat you. No, and that's funny. Even like my own father, I know when he retired, he was a carpenter, and the day he was done, he put his hammer down and said, "That's it, I'm done." And that was it. He retired just like that.
I can say, as much as I love my job, at one point, I don't know if it was my self-conscious or I don't know what, I started hating it.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore. And I see some people doing this gesture, I pushing their hands, and it's like stabbing myself with a knife.
Yeah.
I can't take that anymore. I can't see it.
Yeah.
That's why I could not train anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a sad situation, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. I think it's important. That's why we wanted to do this interview, is to kind of put a timestamp and to let the people know that has come even after us. I've been in this industry 26 years. Daniel, he's almost 60 now, and he's been. Sorry, Daniel.
That's okay.
I'm ratting you out.
I'm like, am I really almost 60? God,
you're closer to 60.
I don't look like.
Somebody told me the other day, Natalia, you look good.
You do look
good. You don't
good.
look like your age. You look 71.
No, I think
I've been in
Carl and John and me. I think we're both about the same age, right?
Yeah, 47
this year.
Yeah, I'll be 47 this year. So
he's 40
and
42.
I've been
42, yeah.
I've been fixing cars for 30 years, and man, I still love it.
Yeah, still love it.
I still do stupid stuff like agree to buff out an entire.
I hope you continue enjoying it, because it's wonderful job. I mean, I always say, you never leave your house bored, because you never know what you're going to encounter. Same dent.
Exactly.
And the same car model. Different color is an entire different story altogether.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it the same way you see it in a white car, black car, red car.
No,
everything is a new beginning.
Why do you think it's so different like that? Like, there's other craftsman jobs, like a panel beater or maybe a finished carpenter. Why is it that fixing a dent and not having to paint it is so special? Because it is special, and we wouldn't have this podcast if we didn't think it was special. And we have 2,700 listeners a week downloading our podcasts throughout the world. and they think the same thing. They think they are in a very unique, industry or profession that is very special.
Because they are. This is not a regular job. This is very much like vast percentage of it is like craftsmanship, like a craft.
Yeah.
You need to. I mean, we were able to reproduce art to other people.
Yeah.
Something they will very much doubt at the very beginning. I mean, because you're a Picasso, it doesn't mean you're gonna be able to train many other little Picassos.
Yeah.
But I proved that I was able to do it. Maybe my military regime was coming from there without realizing. I need to make sure that I prove myself, that I can train people. I will not take anybody coming here for rest. And they come here to learn and to absorb what I'm trying to teach them.
Yeah.
Time-wise, we had a room in Miami, which we used to call them the dungeon. Oh, no, I didn't call them the technician.
Technicians.
Yeah. We had a single reflection board in the room. And we have like 6, 7 door stands facing toward the same board. Instead of everyone having one board each, I have a single board, and every door is facing to the same board, the reflection board. And it was so hot, we didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
We did have a nice place where we can train, but no air conditioning then, only fans. In the dungeon, you need to get out of the dungeon the sooner the better, and the only way is to have it no fans, no nothing there.
Yeah.
Be motivated.
That's why when we were in St. Louis, we didn't want to. They knew by week 4 if you were going to make it or not, and if a franchisee or a franchise paid a lot of money to be there, we were told $30,000 investment by the time it was all done for 2 months. The franchisee would send that technician down to Lito, and no one wanted to go to Lito. They were in trouble because Lito, he could make, lemons or lemonade out of lemons. If you were a bad technician, you could pretty much teach anyone, is what we were told up there. That's what we were told.
Yeah. Well, I was so rigid at that time that even people that I thought didn't belong to the trade,
Mm-hmm.
I had him sitting in the couch in my office for a week, and to see what kind of reaction they would get. If they came to me and pleading, not that I feel like God, no, nothing like that, but I feel that those people have a cocky personality that it will not match what it takes to be a technician.
Yeah.
And if you come to me, you're going to send me there or not, you're gone. You're not going to even be part of the training. But I look for humbleness and people willing to not sacrifice, but put in every effort towards the training and the learning.
Yeah. Now, what about Carl? Carl, did you get trained by Lito or no?
No, because I came in, I was in, June, July, 97.
Yeah.
So I trained in St. Louis. Gary Payne and Tim White, who's actually still an instructor over there, and Brad Beach were my instructors. Gary was my main instructor.
Same here.
But it was tough. The first week people were dropping out, spending all day upside down on a flooded cars that they salvaged, and the steel was like washing machine steel, and you're hurting. I worked out every night. I lost like 30 pounds the first month I was with Dent Wizard training.
Did they charge you for it?
No, that was a freebie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in St. Louis, you have air conditioning.
Exactly. We do.
No, the doors are open. We're sweating our brains out.
I was in there January and February, so we needed heat. We were good.
Well, then they moved us over to after week 4. They moved us over to Rudolph Road or somewhere. It was another. It was like a gravel lot. They had you train in, and then by week 6, we were out at the dealerships. But everybody in my class, we had a really good class.
Doing the route with the
technician. Yeah.
Now, Daniel, we keep on cutting you off. You have something to say.
So I'm curious to know the first time you went to MTE, what was your first impression of going to MTE and seeing all the tools and everything at MTE?
Well, I was amazed. But then again, coming from where I come from, I said something came to my mind, the 22 tool set. And I see, even if you want to access in a certain area of a panel, you need a special tool. So, well, I think many people trying to compensate lack of knowledge by getting new tools.
Yeah.
I wrote something on internet today. It says, good technician, you give him a bad tool, he can do anything. A good technician. A bad technician, you give him every best tool they can think of, and we still make a mess.
Yeah.
Because the tool doesn't make a technician. The technician works with any tool. One day I did a demonstration for a Japanese group, came to Miami, and my shop was closed, and was these people ready to go to the airport to leave. After we did negotiation to sell the rights to Japan, and I don't have anything. I go into my pocket, nothing. I said, does anybody have a pen? One of those big pens? The Japanese said, oh, also, oh. And I grabbed with my fist, with my knuckle here. I hit a hood on the car. I made a dent. I got the pen. I got the dent out with a pen.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't need special tools.
It's the knowledge.
But yeah, you need to use your common sense. Use your common sense.
Yeah.
I remember when I was doing a door dent, and I had my 22 tool sets next to me. And before I was working out, before I even got my eye out of the repair, I was thinking which tool I'm going to use next. And I knew exactly where it was. And I was keeping looking at the dent, and I dropped this tool and I grabbed the other one without losing sight. This is total 110% concentration.
Sure.
And that you can do only when you commit to it.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever switch to a light from a board to a light?
Yeah, when we started doing the training in Miami.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's where I think the industry really started to grow in the tool industry, is when we first got introduced to lights. Because my first light it probably weighed over 100 pounds. It was huge. And I would pack it into, my first car was a little hatchback, and I'd have to lift this thing into the hatchback. And it was just a regular fluorescent bulb fixture that you'd hang on the ceiling, and the bulbs would break all the time. And it wasn't used to getting in and out. And I would have to buy a new light fixture probably every 3 months, because they'd wear out or the bulbs would break or something. And I would lug this thing out, and I had like probably 500 feet in extension cord just so I could use the light, because I didn't learn on a board. I had to use light.
No, man, we had our lights were a plug-in shop light bungee to the back of a reflection board. That was our first lights.
Yeah, we did the same thing. I was so excited when I got this. And this was probably in 98. And it plugged in.
I remember those.
Maybe 2000. So it's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And then I finally switched to, when I found Lockline, I finally made my own Lockline one with a magnet. And I went to the RV store and I bought an RV light that went underneath the cabinet. And that's when I came up with, I made my own mini light. I remember Tom Price was the one that was telling me that they were making mini lights. And I go, oh, okay, if somebody's making it, okay, I can make my own. And I remember making my own probably in 90, 95, somewhere around there, 94, 95. Probably 95, I think. But yeah, that was the first year that I started really thinking about making my own tools. And because I was finding areas that I couldn't get to with the tools that I had. And so I started diving into designing stuff.
Yeah.
But now we should probably transfer into your new tool. You came up with the new tool. That's how Carl is here. Why don't you kind of introduce us to this, Carl?
Well, we've known, Lito for a while and Jonathan, and, the first time I got to really meet Lito, I call him Padrino, which means is Spanish for Godfather, was at an expo. And I was like, honey, 'cause my wife's, almost Mexican. And I was like, honey, you got to meet, this is a Padrino. This is the guy that started everything. It was like, I was starstruck, because it was such an honor to meet this man. So we've had a friendship for a while, and Jonathan called Alma one day and said, hey, my father has this tool that we've been using for years, and I think that it would be a good tool to introduce to everyone. So we took the original and just kind of revamped it a little bit. It's still basically the same tool, just a few tweaks. So it's a 3-tip knockdown. The original was like a CNC Padrino. It was a CNC nylon with these phenolic tips embedded into it. So the new tool now is injection molded. It's still made out of super strong material, and we just made it where you could change the tips, because everybody's kind of got their favorite tips. Like that's
so
fine.
these
The black one.
These here were the original.
The
Yes.
phenolic.
That tool, sorry. Yeah, that was the original.
And then
They
now
will call
this
it the rectifier.
It was called what?
The rectifier. That was the original name of it.
Gotcha. And I think what's important, especially for new technicians, there's knockdowns that are, 4 inches long. Dentcraft makes a 3-inch, a 4-inch, which is very popular, and so everyone pretty much has had those for years. I think what's important about a tool like this is having the tips close to the panel, because the longer the knockdown, the more chance you have as missing, or hitting it on the side, and your knockdown slipping or things like that, not getting the exact drive by hitting the exact top of the knockdown. With this, it's a shorter. It's maybe 3 inches in length, right? With the tips, about that.
I would say, a little bit more maybe.
So for our listeners out there, it basically looks like a how many sides is this?
It's octagon.
Look,
Yeah, I was gonna. It's a stop sign, Daniel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Look,
so
I
you can
didn't-
put
I didn't
you can
wanna-
put
I
3
didn't
tips
wanna
on
say
it.
I didn't want to say it because I don't want to ruin my creation, but it looked like a coronavirus.
Don't go there.
But what's great about this is you got 3 tips on here, which I love because up until I got this, I have my tips hanging on my belt and on extensions, and I always have 2. But there's times there where I would like to have 3. And this serves the purpose of that. Is I get to have 3 choices. And if you're working on a big dent, you're going to go through 3 different tips, without a doubt. So I love it for that.
Now, where are we able to find this tool?
StuckyTools.com right now, and then we've sent some out for Anson, A1, and some of the other companies to look at.
And it comes with magnets on the back, so you can set it down and it's not going to slide off the panel when you're doing hail, which is great.
Does it come with tips or without tips?
We sell it without tips, but we also offer it with tips right now. Anson was kind enough, Christina hooked us up with 3 of their phenolic tips. So we had the same thing. It was sharp, a medium, and a broad tip that we also, and they're made out of the peak material.
Oh, there you go.
And yours, the one you're selling is going to be in neon green, right?
Yes, it'll be this color.
Okay.
So Daniel got one of the first runs.
Color.
Black.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got it today at the shop. I haven't even had a chance to take it out of the wrapper, so I'll be playing around with it in the shop for sure. And I'm sure Anson will.
And I'm sorry, Vince. I was just thinking because I'm a technician as well. So every time, like Daniel was saying, I know you work on motorcycle tanks. I used to too, but I got so busy with cars. But anyways, going back to your, grabbing one knockdown, another one, and I use all of them. I love all the knockdowns, but here you got that choice, right? And like you say, you got a high spot, this and that, and the weight on it and the grip on the middle. That design by Carr, man, it's just nailed it so good. When you hit, it's solid. It doesn't move. I mean, it's not because it's our tool. I just love it even better than it was before, and it's really, really useful and practical.
So it's got 2 indents on either side for your fingers to pinch it. And it feels really, really good in your hand. It's nice and smooth. It's that nylon material that is indestructible. So this thing's never going to wear out, first of all. You got the Stucky logo on it. It says El Padrino. And it's got the magnets on the sides. Just really well made. It's got metal inserts. So inside, that's not going to wear out. So overall, this thing's going to be indestructible. You're going to have this tool for the rest of your life. And that it has some history like it does. I think it's a tool that everybody should go out and buy for sure. How much is this selling for, Stucky?
Right now we're doing an introductory special, so I think they're $39.99 without tips.
Yeah, perfect.
And you can get them with the Anson Peak tips for an extra $40. I'll put the links in the show notes to the direct page as well as to the Stucky store, because as we pimped everything else that Stucky makes, you need to make sure and spend a little time in that store.
Yes, absolutely. Well, what else do you want to talk about, El Padrino? Man, I'm terrible. My father's from Italy, and I can't even speak a word of Italian or Spanish.
I was going to ask you. You're Italian, no capisci.
No capisco. No capisco. Sorry. I know 3 words.
It's funny that all these misnomers of what the stories I heard. I heard that you went to Germany and went into the German factory at Mercedes and learned it there. And then, so it's great to finally get it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and clear up history and really get it down into the record books of what went on and how the industry got started here in America. And speaking for every tent deck, man, I'm so appreciative of you and what you did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
I know we choked up a little, Padre, because you, like I told you, I wouldn't have my life now if it wasn't for learning.
Yeah, we owe you a lot.
Let me say this: the thing that I relate 100% to whatever I did in life was with inspiration of God in my life.
Absolutely.
And as a matter of fact, whatever comes out of this, a percentage of this will go to charity. And we have a hospital in Miami called St. Jude, which they help little kids with cancer.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pay anything, even the parents.
Yeah.
And that's a course that I would suggest anybody wanting to do any charity work, looking into that.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's my purpose in life. I mean, it came to me a little late. As every Christian, I was with God at one point, and then I moved away from God, and I regret that. But now, like God Stephen used to say, I am old, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
Especially under the wings of God.
Nice.
That's the message I will. Do not think that everything you do in life is your own merit. Nice. You need to give credit to God.
Sure. It's a gift. It's a gift given by God, for sure.
Yep.
And we happen to be in an absolutely wonderful industry that has blessed myself and my family for many years, and I still love it to this day. I'm semi-retired. I don't fix dents, but I sell tools, and I train to be safe while working on vehicles. So, but I can never picture not being in this industry. I was 20 years old when I started. I'm 47 now, and I still love it as much as the first day. So, and I have you to thank for that, for creating this industry in this country. And I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank God. Don't thank me.
Well, yeah. Thank God for putting Lito on this planet.
Let me say, I want to send my regards to my dear friend, Tom Price.
Yep.
He's my dear friend, my brother.
Yeah.
His family. Yeah. And also I want to apologize to you, Dan, because at one point I'm sorry if I offended you or if I look cocky, but at one point I refused. But the reason why I changed my mind is I was talking to my son. This is the best way to bring people to God. Yeah. To see if people in the industry can see what God can do in somebody's life. And I encourage them to be part of the Word of God. Yep. Also, I want to apologize to Mike Toledo. He was also one of the persons to ask me to do an interview. And I reject, not that I was disrespectful, but I wasn't feeling good at that point. I wasn't feeling good until I done that. You're not going to bite me. Yeah. Everything is nice. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. You're a nice person. You have a beautiful family. Each one of you. And also, I'd like to give apologies to Randy Hobson, which Randy, also he was one of them like 2 or 3 years ago when I was spending time for the show. I was with Tom Price, and he introduced me to him. And actually, I tried to run away from him. I was so unrespectful. I look at somebody else's eye like a coward. But today, facing the camera, I face each one of you, and I appreciate what you do, and I enjoy seeing each one of you excelling in life with something that somehow I put a little grain in it, like seed master,
Yes,
but never forget to give thanks to God.
absolutely.
He's the reason.
And
Are we
Lito,
going to
all
see
those-
more tools coming out of you? You think in the future?
Yeah, I got a few that nobody ever seen.
I would say amen to that.
Amen.
Yeah. I think we all want that, so
And
keep
just
up
so
with
you
it.
know, all those people that you mentioned, they're all friends of ours, and I'm sure they would be happy and grateful that just as we are to come on here. They're happy that at least one of us got your story, so we could go on and carry this on, this legacy of this industry to the people that come after us.
Yeah. It's really important. I mean, to get it, get it in our history of what happened, exactly how it happened. I'm really thankful for it.
Although some of the stories, the myth stories, are pretty funny,
right?
Like what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was certain I was picturing the tuxedo you'd wear back then.
Yes.
It would have been the ruffle one.
The ruffles. Big bow tie.
Yeah.
I look like a penguin.
Hey, I will ask my mom. Maybe she has a picture he don't even remember, man.
Yeah. You should show some old pictures. But I love the shoe story because I did hear that story from somebody early on. I think it was my local Dent Wizard here in town told me that story. And I was like, what? No way. I didn't believe that story. So it's good to hear it from the horse's mouth. That's right. Well, once again, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Stuckey, for making this happen. Jonathan, it was a pleasure having you on. And, anytime you guys want to come back on, just let us know if you have something to talk about or something to share. Please feel free to contact us and make it happen.
Absolutely.
I just want to say something else. In the package where the tool is going to be, there is a scripture of the Bible.
Yes, on the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Whoever gets it, read it and assimilate it and follow it. Because
Awesome.
he's the only reason.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
Can I add something really quick?
Yeah.
Vince was saying, he made me think, man, because he was saying what makes us so different or special because we fix the dance, we're not fixing people. But for me, I was just thinking on that question, and we get so excited and happy when we're working on a dent, and we know it's going to bring, in some way, somehow, joy to the person. We're not thinking even in the money we're going to receive. It's personal for us. So for me, it's like when I'm going to give something to my child, a present, and I already see that face coming or something, I get more excited because I'm putting my effort to give that joy or something. So you already part of that, and it's wonderful. And even when you're doing hell, you're not gonna fix that car. You're gonna be, you're gonna charge money. It's good money, but still, when you see that car in a way, and when you see the customer, even from far, they delivering the car to him, you see his reaction, man. And it produces something inside, right? It's hard to describe. So it's a blessing.
Still one of the best feelings ever when you see your customer's face.
Yeah.
And you just fix their baby.
Yeah.
And let me say something else. I'm talking too much now. Before I didn't want to talk.
Never. We got all the time in the world. Yeah. We're not on time limit.
When you face the mirror, think the marvelous image you're seeing is another creation of God.
Sure.
Yep.
And let me give you another story, funny one.
Yeah.
I was in Fort Lauderdale on a Mercedes-Benz dealership, and a guy came over and he brought too many cars to me, new, changing cars, bringing over to me, little dent, big dent. One day he had a 300C about 30 something years ago, with a big dent, elongated dent on the bottom of the rear fender, almost following the lower section over.
The bottom
Big
line.
dent, about 1 foot. And it was a line, like he dragged something against a pole or something. And he goes in. And then he said, well, can you fix it? Yeah, I will fix it. Let me take it back. I take it back to the dealership. Under the whipping willow in the shade. Fixed the car and pow, pow, pow. And I imagine this car going crazy, all those noises. I was using the dolly and the master tool to flatten the surface up. When I came back and delivered the car was so nervous and so appreciative and so thankful. He said to me this, you don't imagine, this is a brand new car. This is like getting my daughter's virginity back.
Wow. I never heard that one.
That's a good one. Now, let me ask you this, because I just thought about this, and you don't have to answer it because I know you've seen thousands of technicians throughout the years and you've trained a lot. But are there a few that have stuck out more than others for their accomplishments? You know, like one guy that I know sticks out for me out of Dent Wizard is Scott Blenn. He was a fantastic technician and fixed big dents very fast. Are there anyone that, you know, throughout the, you know, I know you're going to say Tom Price because he's, you know, another legend in our industry, but are there any names that stick out to you throughout the years?
There are other ones, and the one that I really got surprised by was a person that I trained, one of the last person I trained. It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Jonathan? No, sorry.
No.
That was long ago.
He's good too, but it didn't surprise me yet.
Yeah.
But this guy,
that's the Italian side there.
Yeah. I walk over a hood and a 3 weeks training. He was in the 3rd week. I walk over the hood, I put it on the stand. Now I want you to fix it. He invested like 1 day. He came up perfect in 3 weeks training.
Yeah.
It wasn't aluminum?
No, it wasn't aluminum.
Dave.
Dave
from Myers.
Dave, what's his name? Last name?
I can't remember.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah.
Very interesting person. Very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Very dedicated. He was a mechanic by trade, and then he was a salesperson, and then he wanted to learn dance, and he really surprised me.
Yeah.
Everybody else were good, but this guy was extremely good.
He was a natural, right?
I had one of those when I started early on. I was training, and I had a guy. His name, I remember his name because it was unusual. His name was Caesar, and I told him
nothing to do with the dressing. No.
Huh? Yeah.
Nothing to do with the dressing.
Yeah. No dressing.
But I think he had an advantage because he watched the dent guy for 2 years. And he came to me and I said, well, my training is 3 weeks minimum, right? And in 1 week, I was already training him the stuff I would train somebody in the 3rd week. And by the end of 2 weeks, I'm like, you're ready, actually. I mean, I don't know how, but you're such a natural. And I let him go in 2 weeks, which I never did before. And I never met anybody like him. So yeah, there's those few unique people like that.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays, some of the technicians, the ones that come in now, they have an advantage because of the amount of tools that are out there as well. That they it advances their training a lot quicker than what we had. You know, our tools, like you said, the technician is the technician, and the tool does not make the technician. But sometimes having the right tool will make it easier. And it seems like the learning curve has been sped up a lot faster now than years ago.
Yeah, but now we have different materials. You know, we have different
aluminum, high strength steel, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I have all those great tools that I get, and yet I'll still just use my tap down to finish pushing the last like 4 or 5 dents because I don't want to move my hand.
Yeah.
That's why I like this. Is it? You can hold it like this and use it to push. It's really comfortable in your hand for just using it as just a regular push tool instead of a pen. I don't have to use my pen anymore.
There you go.
The dolly, like
don't use it as a weapon
on the tops of doors.
A weapon.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible if you use it to punch somebody.
Punch somebody.
Now I got to put a disclaimer on the packaging now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't get pulled over with this in your car next.
Yeah. Got a lot of.
I used to get popped at the airport because I have my knockdown in my pocket, and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, guys, I think that brings us to the end of our show. And again, thank you very much, guys, for coming on. And don't forget to level up your tools.
One thing I'd like to add, for El Padrino, I would love to see more of your creations come out. So hopefully you can think of some other things that you want to share with everybody, and we can have more of your tools out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
Thank you for your confidence, and thank you for being nice to me. Again, I don't think of me as something special. I mean, I just a right, and this is one of my creations here.
There you go.
Well, we look forward to seeing what Jonathan's going to do to carry on the torch.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I mean, for me, I was, growing up with him, so admiring him because, I knew who he was, and just a lot of people coming, and he influenced so many people. I was just amazed at every stage of, even if I recognize it or not, saying to him or no, I was looking at him as a true hero, in my life, and an example, and in character, and many, many, many things, and effort, and hard work, and discipline, and talent, and just being funny, and everything.
And my jokes too.
Yeah.
Of course,
and,
jokes.
Even when I go,
I'm famous by little jokes.
Yeah, little jokes. I mean, sometimes I laugh at that joke, but I still laugh, man.
His mother used to come behind me and ask for, I'm sorry, he doesn't know what he's saying. When we were in a place. She was so embarrassed of my jokes.
Even I feel humble when somebody like you, I met you then in MT, I think 5 years ago. I think I posted a picture on Facebook on your birthday. That was so cool. Such a good moment. When I met Carl, Mike, when he was flying the drone, I remember the MT. And, seeing you guys talking to him with so much respect and all this, it's just humbling in a way, and just goes back to the source, like he says. We are just tools in the hand of somebody greater. So for me, it's an honor, guys, and an honor, Pa, for being here together. This was a recorded day, March 316. And thank you guys so much.
Listen.
There you go.
On 316.
Yep. Read the Bible.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the heart of the Bible. Okay?
Yep.
And the day today. Thank you, guys. Been
Thank
a pleasure.
Yes.
God bless you immensely.
Thank you.
And stay together and stay with God mainly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Big Carl.
Carl, thank you very much. Saludos to Alma.
It's all love.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
Daniel,
let's
take
close
us
it
out.
out. Level up your tools.
Don't do stupid stuff.
And keep it stiff. Thanks for listening.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the industry and tool-related news every week.
Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.